What up, y'all? Welcome to the week. We are here for our weekly Oracle forecast with the Oracle of Oddities, first, second, and third editions. Love this deck. I'm obsessed with it. We usually do this late Sunday night, and you may watch it on Monday morning. I don't know what time anybody watches me. I feel like I broadcast late night because that's when I make the show. And my little night owls catch me late, and then my coffee drinkers have, coffee, and we hang out in the morning. And then some of my midday people, like I've got a lot of people that watch me in the middle of the day, and I'm like, ooh, what are y'all doing when you're watching in the middle of the day? But yeah, so we're here now, in space and time, or outside of it, more rather. And we're gonna tune into what we can expect for our energy for the upcoming week. So basically we're looking for what are the themes of the universe is going to be working with us with this week, right? Like in the school of life, in the video game of life, like what level are we at this week? What can we expect? Ooh, toxic. Okay. Ooh, okay. Ending of a toxic situation that has been sort of emotionally suffocating. And this can be like the end of the way that you have been perceiving something in a toxic way, or the ending to a toxic pattern in your life. It doesn't literally mean that you have to burn a bridge or anything, but it's definitely the end of toxic influences in your life. The fact that I'm not sure if these are I guess they're kidneys. But I always look at them and think lungs. And actually, right now in my house, I'm having an issue with too much humidity in the air because I'm sitting in this basically a valley neighborhood surrounded by all of these fertile trees, and then there's kind of a bog, like a little swamp in the back, every time it rains. So moisture is always an issue in this little area, and I've been having to absorb the moisture with damp rids, but I'm gonna have to I don't know, see how it goes. It's kind of improving, but I may need to take further steps, but it's really been bothering me. So that is something that's been toxic that I've been trying to get to the bottom of. But that's only a physical manifestation of something that is going on emotionally and energetically in my life. Something has, accumulated a lot of emotional turmoil, and that has stagnated. And so that is manifesting in this water issue. So look to your life. Do you have any weird things happening right now? And if so, how could they be a representation of something that you have going on in your internal realm at the moment? Because one of the lessons that we've been working with in the month of Cancer is overcoming our shadow tendencies of those toxic patterns, the emotional patterns that we have, transcending the sadness that we've held on to, right? That has become toxic. Transcending old anger that we've held on to that has become toxic, that has become bitterness. We're trying to offload and transcend those challenging emotions of the sign of Cancer. I'm a Cancer moon, and so my feelings are it's Cancer is ruled by the moon, and it's all about being sensitive and emotional and psychic and empathic. And so it's very strong for me, and trying to become the master of that emotional realm has really helped bring perspective for me and balance in that area. And I think that's always been challenging because, the emotions can be very deep. And so the challenge is to overcome the moments where we feel overcome and overwhelmed by the emotion, and we have a tendency to become despondent or despairing or apathetic even, or trying to just check out because it's all too much. So we're trying to transcend these emotions by feeling them and integrating them and having healthy relationships with them, but also being able to process them without holding on or without being completely overwhelmed. And we also are learning to balance, our feelings, paying attention to what they're telling us, but also not letting them control our decisions, right? Because we're always trying to have affinity with the light. So we want to be the cause and not the effect. The cause is eternal. The cause is unchanging. The cause is not affected. The cause is the light emanating. always the same, right? That's unconditional love. It's constant. And that's why it's true, because it's not subject to change, right? It's not subject to mutability. Whereas, material world love is a lot of times at the mercy of the conditions until we learn how to transcend all forms of love into a higher, more elevated, awakened state. So yeah, we're overcoming toxicity. We're ending these toxic patterns. Oh yes, Cancer. We're elevating ourselves through the journey of processing all of those difficult feelings so that we can have real joy and real inner peace and real certainty that doesn't depend on how we're affected by our conditions, but joy that is, and certainty that is sustaining even beneath when the surfaces are choppy, when we're going through difficulties in life. We can always know that at the core of our core, we have inner peace, that things are going to be okay, and that they're eventually going to find harmony. So, we're not always perfect. We have moments of strength and moments of darkness, but if we can have that core foundation, then we'll always have that to lean back on when the winds of change are rough and the storm blows. That's why the wise man builds his house upon the rock, right? Not the sand. You know that little song, fable or whatever, or I don't know, maybe it's a Bible verse, but comes to mind. What else we got? Ooh, apathy. Okay, all of this emotional turmoil, these cycles have led to this feeling of apathy. It's like, what is it all for? It always just ends up in this cycle of toxic, like fruitlessness. Oh, I'm like resigned. And so this is the end of all of this emotional baggage that has held us down in such heaviness that has prevented us from even having the energy to have a lust for life again, right? So we are ending apathy. And if we feel ourselves going in this direction this week of toxic patterns and of feeling that apathy, then perfect. It's the perfect moment and perfect opportunity to pause and be like, okay, what's going on? What are the conditions? What am I thinking? What is the movie playing in my head? What's the loop? What's the tape telling me? Okay, how did this tape get started in the first place? Where did I get this story? Do I need to keep telling the story? Can I just let go of this and like cast it off and like go forward, rise up, renewed, go baptize yourself in nature somewhere and come back a different person? Like, we can decide to just suddenly snap out of it, but like it actually requires that we kind of make it a practice of a commitment, a devotion, where we have to show up each and every day, and hour to hour, minute to minute, being the new person, right? Like, embodiment. It's the integration. It's the integration of the inner and the outer. It's the divine marriage of the upper and the lower and the inner and the outer, right? When those come into union. Ooh. Awaken. I mean, this is literally, it's like the cards are commenting as we speak, people. Awakening of consciousness. Okay, here we have the moon faced off with these sunflowers. The sunflowers are definitely a reference to the sun. The sun card in the tarot is the archetypal energy of awakening, spiritual awakening, awakening the subconscious into the conscious. So this is the moon, which represents the subconscious, our insecurities, our fears that we haven't faced. And so we are facing these, and we are having an awakening, and we are having an integration of the acceptance of all of it. This is also, look at what's happening here. It's a marriage of the divine masculine, fire, sunflower, upright triangle, and the round feminine dark moon. Divine marriage of the masculine and the feminine, the internal and the external, to produce an awakening. So this will be an awakening of next level life, because we are now awakening closer and closer, or shedding layers that prevent us from being connected with our higher self, right? That's what the work is all about, and that's what we're doing here by ending this toxic apathy in our lives. by casting off all of that stagnant emotional cesspool of rotting darkness in the nothing, like in the never-ending story when Atreyu's horse is getting pulled down in the tar pits of misery. No more. Rise up. We're casting that off. Going forward, we are awakening. Oh, fucking crap. Rise up, brothers and sisters. Awaken. Be whole. Be renewed. Be well. And just do it. You know, taste the real thing, honey. 50 cents for guacamole, or what is it, $1 now? What is it, $20 now for guac? Fucking do it, bitch. Eat your guacamole. Ugh, what is that? I got stuck by something prickly. Okay, you guys, let's review. Ending toxic emotional patterns. Oh, hold on, I did that wrong. Ending this one. Ooh, already growth coming from it, and ferns are protectors. Their power is feminine protection, I believe. So growth coming from endings to toxic patterns, toxic behavior, toxic emotional patterns, toxic stories, toxic baggage that has become stagnant, that is infecting your life and holding you down and infecting the whole thing with apathy, preventing you from having any kind of true joy and contentment and ease and satisfaction and inspiration to expand and do more. You're just in a void, sitting in a stagnant puddle. We're awakening from that to be no more. This end of this big cycle, this like grand sort of like purging in Cancer moon is really cleansing the rest of all of that old self, that old self that had died away. We're getting rid of the carcass, people. Dumping the body. We're rising anew here in our funeral shroud, but we're awakening and we are resurrecting. So, got a big week ahead of us, which is interesting because I am also doing our extended message for our Oracle and Tarot Monday pool from Instagram right after this. So stay tuned. That video will also be posted soon. All right, y'all. Have a good week. Good luck out there. Bye.